Some people have been asking in the comment section for me to do a Francis Tiafoe forehand analysis. Let's check out his forehand. It's a little unorthodox at the beginning, but then, man, does it get really, really good. So let's look at this forehand right here. So the first thing we want to know is the grip. He uses a strong semi-Western grip. Let me show you what that looks like. Now, to find a grip, you always have to make sure that your racket is straight up and down on its edge with the strings facing left and right. Then the racket orientation is correct. The top panel of the 8 panels is panel number 1. If you're right-handed, you count to the right. If you're left-handed, you count to the left. So this is panel number 1 for a righty. This is 2, 3, and 4. Tiafoe has his knuckle and his heel pad on low 4, panel number 4, the low part of it. This is a strong semi-Western grip. Great for getting a ton of topspin. Now, when Francis turns, he actually does something that I don't recommend to my students, and that is to only have the hitting hand on the racket and actually keep the non-hitting hand off. I actually want you to turn with both hands on the racket. I can remember seeing a video of Tiafoe when he was 14 years old. And he did not have this type of forehand. He did not have his hand higher than the tip of the racket. You can actually see the tip of his racket is pointing down as he takes the racket back. He did not use to turn like this. He had his non-hitting hand more on the throat of the racket, and the tip of the racket was actually pointing up. Think of Roger Federer and the way he turns. Now, as his game developed, this is just kind of the natural style and kind of the signature of the swing that he developed. But as the racket drops, his swing becomes much more mainstream. And from this point forward, his forehand really becomes indistinguishable from anyone else's on tour. But let's look how he actually gets into that position. The tip of his racket is pointing off to the right. And as his hand and racket drop, he uncoils his body. Watch this. Look how we can see a little bit of his chest here. And watch how as the racket drops, we can no longer see his chest. So he has begun turning his body. When he turns his body, that flips the racket because watch his hand go forward and the racket just lags back. That is not a purposeful movement. He is not purposely throwing the racket head back. He is simply moving his hand forward because his body is rotating, and that snaps the racket back. I'll do it in slow motion again. This natural movement where he gets, like right here, gets like the butt cap of the racket to point more at the ball, strings pointing down, that's a closed racket face, vital to getting your strings to face forward at contact as you're swinging up for topspin. This is a position that almost every single pro gets into 100% of the time on their forehand. Now, if you struggle getting into this position, I really want you to focus on your non-hitting hand. I want you to look how his non-hitting hand is over. If I just kind of put a line down here, the non-hitting hand is to the right of this line. And I want you to watch how he moves it up and across. Look how he moves it up and across, and that at contact, his non-hitting hand is visible over his non-hitting shoulder. If you struggle rotating your hips on your forehand, if you're someone who feels like you just arm the ball because you swing your arm and you're not actually rotating your body, then really focus on the movement of your non-hitting hand. When you take the racket back, make sure that your non-hitting hand is on the hitting side of your body. And then as the racket drops, move the non-hitting hand out of the way. And an easy way to make sure you're doing that is film yourself from the back and at contact, stop the video and see if your non-hitting hand is visible over your non-hitting shoulder. That makes sure that your body can rotate. And when your body rotates, you get this beautiful lag, pre-stretches the forearm, super small swing, but you get a ton of racket speed. Absolutely love this. You can see how still his head stays. Like, you're not going to hit a great shot and see it. Keep your head still. There's a saying in golf, if you look, you won't like what you see. Keep your head still. And I love the finish. He does finish a little bit lower than what I teach, but there are basically 3 finishes that are acceptable in tennis. Finish up above your head, finish high over the shoulder, or finish more around. Typically, the higher you go, the more spin, and the lower you'll go, a little bit less spin. But absolutely love his forehand, and I love watching him play in the U.S. Open. Now, the best way to practice these techniques is at home with a Topspin Pro. You can get a Topspin Pro using my link in the description. I'm also going to pin it in the first comment. I absolutely love the Topspin Pro, and I know you will too. And if you're looking for people in your local area to play matches against or practice with, or if you want to find a coach who's close to you who can help you with your game, use my link in the description and pinned in the first comment, playercourt.com/2minutetennis. When you use my link to sign up, you get 50% off. Please go out and film yourself hitting forehands and compare your technique to what you're learning here on 2-Minute Tennis. And if you do, there's no doubt you're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. You got this.